Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. The teaser trailer for the Glitchwalkers expansion to Astroneer dropped today, along with a website and a Steam page. Despite a relatively short video, there is actually a lot to unpack here, so let's jump into it. On the Glitchwalkers website, we learn that we will be traveling to a brand new solar system to explore and to battle a threat to all Astroneers. This is the Aeoluz system, and much like the Silva system, it is named after the home planet, Aeoluz. Whether or not this system offers more than one planet remains to be seen, but the Steam page does describe Aeoluz as the biggest and most complex to date.
Word is planet. I'm going to be very specific about that. The current scope of this thing is that we have a new planet. And the planet is called Aeolus, which is probably the first time you're hearing someone say that out loud. Aeolus is the planet's name.
As we read on, we learn that we will be battling against a rogue Astroneer who has entered the system to take control. I believe we have seen other references to this via the data circuits that were available via the AMP limited time event that recently wrapped up. The text provided by one of those data circuits revealed that someone had gotten into the system and old Frank was determined to root them out. Hey, maybe we'll finally get to meet Frank and work alongside him to stop this rogue Astroneer. I have no idea, it's just pure speculation on my part. The Steam page goes on to mention a new tech tree, modules, and gameplay.
Is there a new tech tree? Yes, there is. There's a new upgrade path basically for the content. So there's new modules, there's new things to unlock, there's new gameplay around all of those things, and that exists in the expansion.
What the Steam page doesn't mention, but was included at the end of the teaser trailer, is what appears to be a storm. If you did not play Astroneer back in early access, the game originally included storms that appeared sporadically and sent you running for shelter to avoid being taken out by flying debris. Though we see something like a storm in the teaser trailer, the image from the header of the Glitchwalkers webpage makes me wonder if there isn't something more to it. I don't know about you, but I cannot recall too many storms that seem to have a face and even a hand. Or maybe this is just an artistic representation of how the rogue Astroneer is using storms to battle against us. It's hard to say. What we can see in this image is some new tech and modules. If we zoom in over to the left side, there's a new shelter. But am I seeing things? Does that have a tier 2 slot on the side of it? I think it does.
Is the new shelter in the art website actually in the DLC? That's a great question. Is that specific one in the DLC? Maybe. Let's just say that the content requires you to have a new shelter, a new habitat.
There is also what looks like an atmospheric condenser on the back of a medium rover. There's just one problem with that though. The atmospheric condenser we currently have would not fit on the back of a medium rover that has a rover seat on it. Again, this could just be an artistic representation that is taking a bit of license, or maybe we'll get a smaller, more portable atmospheric condenser. Let's hope it doesn't need 20 units per second to power it. Moving over to the right, there is something that looks like a scanner of some sort. We actually see that in the trailer as well, in the scene with two rovers driving through a forested area. Like everything else we've seen today, I have no clue what this thing is. I've long wished for a resource scanner, so if that's what this is, I'd be super happy. But I suspect it is more likely to be something that we will need to use in the new gameplay for trying to defeat the rogue Astroneer.
The thing on the back of the rover has multiple purposes, and it is one of the main things you'll be playing with during this content.
There is another new item that we can spot in the trailer. This big rectangular object. It looks like it might have some tier 1 attachment slots, and maybe a power cable plug toward the bottom. I do dig the pattern at the top. It's almost like a digital tiger stripe pattern. Looking at the storm, we can see a rover and a gravity globe flying high into the air, so here's hoping that if there are storms, they can carry off anything that isn't locked down to the surface of the planet. Over to the right side of this image, there's some tethers, a research chamber plugged into a small generator, and some tall storages with lights. But look at that gateway chamber. It seems to be breaking apart. It also has the same symbol that we would see on the side of an activated gateway chamber on Silva. I know this because I just finished an Astroneer Academy video about gateway chambers that you'll be able to watch later this week, and I took the time to record all of the different symbols projected on the side of activated gateway chambers. So here's a shot of that compared with what we see in this image. Yeah, that is the same symbol. But once again, I don't know that we should really read too much into it. This is art, not gameplay footage, so there are bound to be some inconsistencies. Speaking of gateway chambers and things related to them, the trailer itself includes a glimpse of some large purple pillars that are typically found in the core region of planets. This shot shows one of them, and maybe that art isn't taking some liberties. That is quite clearly the same symbol seen on gateway chambers on Silva. It's also the same symbol on triptychs you get from the gateway engine, and the same that appears on the unidentified satellite. We see more gateway engine related stuff in this image as an Astroneer peers down the side of a slope at a large twisted pillar that we previously have found in the core leading up to the gateway engine. All of this makes me wonder how the Gateway Fast Travel Network will come into play, and whether the new planet will even have a core, and if we'll need to activate it. The teaser trailer has done a great job of creating far more questions than it provides answers. So let's talk about the planet itself.
Are we planning on adding new minerals for the DLC? Yes. That's a good leak, actually. That's a leak for today. Good question. So, Vainglorious asks, is the new planet larger than the ones we already have? Absolutely. So one of the reasons why... So I'll just talk about planet for a little bit, I guess, now. We are creating this new planet. We wanted to push the boundaries of the technology that we created to make planets. The planet is bigger, and we're trying some pretty cool things with generation. And so this planet, while it's still going to have procedural generation, there are actually features of the planet that will be on every planet, and they'll kind of be in similar spots. So when you're jumping in and playing the content, there'll be a little bit more of like common knowledge of where things are, and you'll be able to say like, hey, you know, this thing in the north section or whatever, like that will actually be fairly consistent. There's like a starting spot, and then there's like things around that where you can kind of predictably know where those things are. And I'm pretty excited about that. I know we're not going to get away from true procedural generation, or we're getting a little bit away from.
I am going to assume that the Steam page and trailer all include footage from a single planet, though I have no idea if that is actually the case. We can see numerous different regions represented, though many of them do seem to be reusing a lot of decorator assets from planets that currently exist. They've just been resized and recolored. For example, in this shot with the shiny things, we can see the large geometric structures usually found in the mantle of Glacio. On Glacio, they are various shades of blue, but here they're purple. And in these scenes, we can spot structures found deep underground on Calidor. Again, they've just been recolored. The same is true for a lot of the random vegetation that we see throughout the trailer. Looking at the trailer, we can also see this planet has a lot of challenging terrain. While there are some flat areas, it seems many of them are either dense with trees or are actually the top of huge mesas that tower over the surrounding landscape. There are hills leading to jagged valleys, with some other valleys surrounded by steep cliffs. I, for one, cannot wait to explore this new location and find out what secrets it holds. And now for some random bits I noticed in the trailer. What players often referred to as space whale bones in early access make a brief appearance. There are also these huge shards that appear to be made of the same unclassified mineral as the gateway chambers. This same shot also shows an Astroneer carrying a research item, which makes sense. If there is a new tech tree, we will probably need bytes to unlock the new items in that tech tree. And it would seem the curious item may be able to impact the sky in this new planetary system, or maybe it just always looks like this. And finally, at the very end of the trailer, we can see a new suit.
For sure, new music, new audio, new cool things. What will be added to the normal game, not the DLC? We are adding content to the normal game, and some of the gameplay, yeah, now this is an SES stream, thanks. Some of the gameplay that is going to be in the DLC will also be in the base game. It won't be everything, so you won't be able to see all of the stuff, but we are bringing updates to the base game as well. So if you decide not to get the DLC, or you don't want to, or you haven't played in a while and you want to try it first, there are going to be some content that will be there is going to be some content that will be in the base game, and we're really excited about it. Will we get to meet Frank in the DLC? This is a great question. We did introduce a character named Frank via LTEs and stuff this year. Will you get to meet him? I don't know. I can't say. Will Frank be involved? Absolutely. I can say that definitively. Frank is involved. Frank's a key player here. Can you explain how it's going to work with players without DLC? So, if you don't purchase the DLC, the plan is, if you join someone who has the DLC, you should be able to play and enjoy the content without having to pay for anything. That's how that will work. If you play, there will be some content that's related to the DLC that will be in the base game. If you play that content, that will be free. You can enjoy it. And actually, there's a leak for you. There'll be some of that in the base game. But then there'll be a moment when going to the new place requires you to actually get the DLC and have it. So if you want to play by yourself, you need to own it. If you want to play with other people, one person can purchase it and then everyone else can play with them. Astroneer Glitchwalkers DLC expansion coming 2024. Gonna have a new antagonist, a new planet. We are going to add a bunch of content in the expansion, narrative stuff, and in the base game. We are going to charge for this expansion. It's going to be, the intended price right now is $9.99.
And that's everything from the trailer, website, and Steam page. I can't believe I took all of that and turned it into a video this long. But now it's your turn. Did I miss anything from the teaser trailer? What do you think all of this new stuff is? And on a scale from 1 to, oh my god, gimme, how hyped are you for the Glitchwalkers expansion coming later this year for Astroneer? Head down to the comments and tell me all about it. Or you can come hang out with us on the Astroneer channel of the Vainglorious Discord server. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Your likes and comments really do help my video reach more people. And while you're down there, consider getting subscribed as well. Not only do I feature the Astroneer Academy series that covers every aspect of Astroneer, but I also have Astroneer update news available within hours of any news that drops. If you're subscribed, you will never miss a single bit of Astroneer news. Also, being subscribed will ensure you don't miss my announcement video later this year for a few copies of the Glitchwalker expansion that I will be giving away. And with that, until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.